Proverbs 10:21. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. This proverb, like so many in this book, compares the righteous and the wise, or the wise, with the foolish. It also makes a comparison between feeding and dying. So let's understand death, first of all, as more than that of the body. For instance, divorce is the death of a marriage. Being fired from a job is its death. Being in prison is death of freedom. A rebel child brings death to peace. Guilt and shame are death of joy. Bitterness and revenge are the death of love. Debt and poverty are the death of success. There's also a death to love, to joy, to peace, to hope, to prosperity, and how people just do not want to have those kinds of things happen in their life, whereby they lose that. Well, conversely, there is that which benefits or feeds others. The lips of the righteous says feeds or feed many. Now, this feeding is primarily given by the mouth. And we find that the mouth, the words that we say, our speech, it teaches about many pitfalls in this life. A wise parent is constantly pointing out things that will be dangerous for their children. And they say it over and over until it becomes second nature. We find that our words, our speech, give instruction in a victorious life. Do you realize today that a Christian should never be living in defeat? We sometimes call that depression. And God wants us to have life and life more abundantly. We find that our words, our speech, they give correction when needed. This is what it says in Leviticus 19:17. Interesting verse. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer or allow sin upon him. Isn't that a wonderful verse? Thou shalt not in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. In other words, we need to be ready to tell somebody to help them. I believe it's important that we point out the right way to do things. For instance, to grip a steering wheel to a potential driver. I was taught many years ago that one should never grip the inside of the steering wheel, gripping it from the inside outward. Because in a dangerous situation where you got to turn it fast, one hand can hinder the other rather than be of help. And so if we have a new driver, it's right that they keep their hands on the outside of the wheel, that they might turn it more easily. Also, this feeding of instruction and correction, it serves to keep others from error. In James chapter 5, verse 19 and 20, he says, Brethren, if any of you do err from the truth, and one convert him, let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way shall save a soul from death, and shall hide a multitude of sins. And oftentimes we look at that as salvation from sin, but he's talking about more than just that we might help each other, that we not die to the things that God has for us. The person taking in much from God has much to give in wisdom. Think about this, Proverbs 19. He says, or Psalm 19, verse 7 and 11, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. In other words, we need to take in much of what God has given to us, that then also we might give to them. Now let's consider for just a moment, what will our epitaph read? What will people say at our funeral? What will be remembered by them after we're gone? Would our life, or could our life be summarized by the two great commandments, whereby we are to love God above all other things and to love others like ourselves? How will people think of us? Let's remember these words. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. And so I say this morning, get wisdom. Above all things, get understanding. That God can use you to be a help and a benefit in the lives of other people. For if you're saved, that's what He's called you to do. To witness to the lost, and by the way, to the saved as well, that you might encourage them and be of a help in their lives. May God bless you today.